videos in this series are not meant to represent my first playthrough of Final Fantasy XIV. I have completed all main scenario quests, so I cannot promise you genuine reactions to certain cutscenes, but at the same time I still might get emotional during certain moments in the game. With that said, I do hope to provide a decent experience for everyone, so thank you for tuning in. Hello everyone, welcome back to another Final Fantasy XIV video. In the last video, we took care of our very first assignment as a member of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. That assignment, pretty much, we had to deal with a missing persons incident over at Camp Drybone. Several people were going missing, getting kidnapped. To make a long story short, we killed our first primal, Ifrit. So, you know, that was pretty fun. So we're about to report back to Minfilia to give her, you know, the status update and to update her on what's been happening, what we've done, and to see what we're going to be doing next. So let's go ahead and take care of that. Ah, the triumphant hero returns. Tancred told us the news upon his arrival. He was presently in the Solar, giving a full report to Lady Minfilia. You should join him. You should join them at once. Lady Minfilia is most eager to see you. All right, let's head in. My late arrival nearly cost Jay his life. I wasn't there when the Amalja took him prisoner, and I wasn't there when they served him to Ifrit. Yes, by some miracle he survived, but that does not excuse the fact that he should never have had to face such dangers alone. I failed him utterly, just as I'm failing you all. What's done is done, Tancred. You can ill blame yourself for every... Jay, it is so good to see you again. Impeccable timing, my friend. I had just finished regaling Minfilia with your heroic exploits. Tancred has told me everything. You have done well to return to us. The perils you faced were undeniably great, yet a part of me believes that I had no cause to fear, and now we can put paid to our long investigation. As we suspected, the Amalja undertook both the robbery and the abductions with the aim of summoning their primal Ifrit. Nor is this tale limited to Ul'dah. Similar incidents have been rife in both Limsa and Gridania of late. I dare say you've been curious as to how these crimes are linked to the primals. Permit me to explain. Having manifested in the physical realm, primals must consume ether if they are to maintain their presence here, and the stronger they become, the more ether they require. Now, ether exists throughout creation. It flows through all life and permeates the very air that we breathe. Alas, this alone will not suffice to sustain the likes of Ifrit. Nay, he and his kind require a more concentrated source of ether. Crystals. It is for this reason that incidents involving crystals can be often traced back to a primal. Which leaves us the why of the abductions. To understand this, you must first understand how primals are born. When all is well with the world, the primals possess no physical form. Their essence is dispersed across the great river of ether. However, when the world is plunged into chaos, those who worship the primals cry out to their gods for deliverance from suffering. These cries serve as a beacon toward which a primal's essence is irresistibly drawn. It is this coming together, or etheric coalescence, which grants the being's physical form. Once born, a primal gains strength from its followers' worship. The more numerous and fervent they are, the more powerful their god becomes. But the primals are seldom satisfied with such reverence as their adherents freely give, and in order to gain more power, they do not scruple to create followers. They do this by tempering mortals, a process to which you yourself were subjected. Yet even as Ifrit took you took your comrades in his thrall, you alone remained unaffected. This is thanks to the power you possess, the Echo. We know not the why of it, but those blessed with the Echo are immune to primal influence. Cool, so we can't get tempered. It is as though a greater power protects us. When first you came to us, I told you that the Echo would be instrumental in dealing with the primal threat. I trust you now begin to see why. The recent incidents all share a common trait: meticulous planning. Such elaborate designs are a new development, and one which fills me with an unshakable sense of foreboding. While I share your concern, my presiding feeling is one of relief at your safe return. The immortal flames assured me that they will deal with the aftermath, so you need not concern yourself with that. We may rest easy for a time. I suggest you take full advantage of the respite, Jay. You may be sure it won't last long. Once the people learn the identity of the hero who felled Ifrit, I fear you will have nary a moment to yourself. Oh goody, I'll be at the center of everyone's attention. Whether she intended to or no, Minfilia neglected to tell you something. Something I think it would be best you heard from one of us. It concerns the tempered abductees that were rescued. I'm sorry to report that all are to be put to death, the flames with whom you were imprisoned included. Needless to say, this information must not be made known to the public. I swear to you that we would not do this if there were any other recourse. But once a man is tempered, he is tempered for life. His very existence lends strength to the primal whom he cannot choose but worship. And so we Scions continue our fight, that no more innocents need be sacrificed. I hope that you will continue to stand with us, Jay. But I should be going. I must offer my apologies to the Flame General for the losses his people suffered. Till next time. Gods forgive me, how many more lives? Louisoix would never have allowed this to happen. I have to do better. I have to be stronger. Whoa, that's rough. Alright. I know she said rest, but let's keep this moving. Until not so very long ago, you were but one of the many adventurers seeking— oops, I did not mean to skip that dialogue. But for your character and courage, you were raised to the esteemed post of envoy. Thereafter, you traveled the realm, aiding those in need without thoughts of reward, confirming to Thancred that the Scions would benefit from your aid. And no sooner had you joined us than you— bleh. I can't speak today, I'm too tired. You have achieved a great deal in a short time and won fame in doing so. Alas, fame does not come without a price, as you will soon discover. We have guests, Jay. Or rather, you have guests. I do. Beg pardons. Oh, Jesus. Lady Minfilia, radiant as always. I am given to understand that the Scions of the Seventh Dawn have but recently welcomed a new hero into their midst. I am here on behalf of the Maelstrom, Grand Company of Limsolominsa, to offer said hero a place of honor within our ranks. As you can see, Jay, your recent exploits have garnered you the attentions of the Grand Companies of Eorzea. Each organization would have Ifrit's Bane for its own. To this end, all three have sent officers to court you. They would not ordinarily go to such lengths to enlist any recruits. That they have is evidence of their high regard for you. I find myself wondering how word of Jay's deeds spread so quickly. That Immortal Flames should know of his triumph is to be expected, but what of the other Grand Companies? Eep! Totter, you big mouth. Your reputation precedes you, Master R. 'Tis no ordinary man who can face a primal and emerge the victor. The Order of the Twin Adder has need of valiant men such as you. Join your strength to ours, friend, and together let us ensure that peace ever reigns over the Twelveswood. What a pleasure it is to finally meet you, Master R. My comrades speak of you in the most glowing terms. Why, even before you aided us against the Amalja and their dread primal, yours was already a respected name in Ul'dah. Our people know you and love you well. A man of your talent belongs with the Immortal Flames. Join your strength to ours, friend, and together let us secure a prosperous future for Ul'dah. The Admiral was not exaggerating when she said you have the look of a hero. Full often does she speak of you, friend. It is only natural that we should want you for the Maelstrom. Join your strength to ours, and together let us see the grand vessel of Limsa to the shores of glory. Well, jeez. Yeah, I'm character just like, what the fuck is happening? Lady Minfilia. Very well. Though I am quite sure you need no reminding, mayhap a brief summary of the situation would help to clarify your thoughts on this matter. As you know, the Grand Companies are all-encompassing organizations empowered to call upon the martial, economic, and technological resources of their respective city-states in times of strife. There are presently 3 such organizations in Eorzea: the Maelstrom of Limsa, the Order of the Twin Adder of Gridania, and the Immortal Flames of Ul'dah. Serving a Grand Company means serving the nation to which it belongs. You will be charged with its defense and tasked with advancing its cause. In return for your faithful service, you will be furnished with various rewards, some of which may well prove useful to you in your other endeavors. If you are agonizing over which of the Grand Companies best deserves your loyalty, be at ease. The commitment you make this day need not be permanent. Should you wish to shift your allegiance at a later date, you are entitled to do so, and yet I can see that it is no small choice you face. A thought occurs to me. You will, of course, recall that the 3 city-states are planning to hold remembrance services. Well, as part of the proceedings, I am given to understand that the leader of each Grand Company will deliver an address. Hearing these addresses ought to help you make an informed decision. What say you, my dear officers? A fine suggestion. You are as wise as you are beautiful, my lady. Very well, let Jay hear our leader speak, then return here with his decision. We eagerly await your answer. I mean, I already know which one I want to join, but I know full well that adventurers are by their nature a liberty-loving breed and not best suited to the discipline of military service, but I strongly urge you to join a Grand Company nonetheless. While the promise of reward is enticing in itself, it is not the only benefit. You are possessed of great power, Jay, and with it you are capable of doing untold good. Yet know that great power is wont to attract attention, not all of it friendly. There will be those who wish you ill, and you must needs be on the lookout for them. Yet, however vigilant you are but one man. In the midst of a Grand Company, however, you will be one man amongst many, a friend amongst friends. Your achievements will be shared, and so will the danger. I can think of no better arrangement. Of course, joining one organization need not mean leaving another. I hope that we can continue to rely upon your aid. 12 know that we will have need of it in the days ahead. The Grand Companies seek to protect their own nations. We Scions, on the other hand, seek to preserve the future of Eorzea as a whole. Similar, yet not quite the same. Now then, I expect that you'll be afield more often in the future. As such, I would have you carry this link pearl with you at all times. It will allow us to stay in touch regardless of location. Eorzea is changing, Jay, and you have the power to help shape it anew. None can say what the morrow will bring, but so long as we believe in ourselves, there is naught we cannot achieve. Now, it is time you made ready for your journey. Before you depart, be sure to speak to Tataru. She will apprise you as to where and when the remembrance services are due to take place. Well, I guess might as well let you guys know now there's going to be a very text-heavy episode, so keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and talk to our receptionist, Tataru, because I'm pretty sure she might have blabbed to one person too many about my exploits. All right. Hello, Tataru. I'm sorry about all the attention you were getting, Jay. I might have sung your praises a little too loudly and often to a few too many people. Next time I'll be sure to hold my tongue, literally, if necessary. Anyway, I expect you want to know where and when the remembrance services are taking place. If all goes to plan, Gridania's Grand Company, the Order of the Twin Adder, will hold the first of the 3 services, and Elder Seer Khan A. Senna will deliver her address at Miketo's amphitheater. I should probably mention at this point that due to the organizational challenges involved in assembling all of the involved parties, it's possible that the order of the services might change. Still, there's not much we can do about that, so make Gridania your first port of call. Next, you'll need to go to Ul'dah, where Flame General Ralban al-Din will be addressing the masses at the Royal Promenade. Oh, and it's rumored that there's to be a special guest. How exciting! Last but not least, you must make your way to the stateroom in Limsa, where Maelstrom Chief Admiral Melwib Blowfishfin will be giving her address. The room is accessible via the Admiral's lift. Identify yourself to the Sentry, Xanthale, and he will admit you. Got all that? Well, off you go then. I hope you find remembrance services suitably educational. I suggest visiting the city-states in my prescribed order, though with your record of impeccable timing and luck, the schedule may well change in favor of your preferred travel plans. Farewell. So essentially I can go in any order that I want, but I'm going to go in the order that she recommended to me, as well as, you know, what's displayed on my quest log over on the right-hand side of my screen. This guy has side quests for me. We'll take care of that in the next video. Speaking of videos, I had forgot to mention something at the end of my last video. I had mentioned before that I wouldn't be doing much side quest videos, only because I realized it's gonna take up way too much time. But after giving it some thought later on last night, I decided that I might just do it either way, but at a much slower rate. Like probably when I feel like I've made enough progress in the main scenario quests, that's when I'll start focusing on the side quests. So yeah, still a work in progress for side quests, but I'll try and figure out how to get them done properly. But I feel like the story stuff is gonna be what's gonna be more important and probably more entertaining anyway. You know, if you guys don't mind me stumbling upon my words every time I'm reading the text.
I lost my son to the calamity.
The 3 seed seers are all together.
Some say you couldn't take a step without stumbling over a body.
Our forebears were once strangers in the Twelveswood. Fearful of the Green Wrath, they hid themselves in the dark recesses of the earth. Yet they dreamed of basking in the dappled sunlight of the forest. Through great effort, they proved their worth to the elementals, and were granted a place beneath the boughs. So it was that Gridania was born, some 5 centuries ago. Working hand in hand, the Hyur and the Elysian settlers sowed the seeds of our civilization, and soon they were joined by folk of all races. So nourished by the waters of unity, and blessed by the light
Oh,
of the matron,
hey,
Gridania flourished into the
we
great nation it
kinda
is
saw these
today.
guys on the caravan we were in way back in the beginning of the game.
Gridanian standard. There, hanging behind the Elder Seedseer. The entwined serpents represent the unity between Hyur and Elysin. An elegant symbol, do you not agree?
In accordance with the will of the elementals, we have embraced a life of peace. Alas, our neighbors have not always sought the same for themselves, nor for us. Though we Gridanians have no love for war, we have still less for those who would threaten our way of life. Ever have we fought to protect the sanctity of the Twelveswood. When the Garlean Empire brought its war of conquest to Eorzea, we rallied under the noble standard of the Twin Adder that we might push back the encroaching darkness. And it was we who prepared the ground for the reformation of the Eorzean Alliance, that all the peoples of this realm might stand united against the common threat. "5 years ago, the Alliance met the armies of the Empire upon the fields of Cartanel. It would prove the bloodiest battle in recent memory. Countless Gridanian lives were lost. As Supreme Commander of the Order of the Twin Adder, ever shall I bear the weight of our people's sacrifice. Alas, their loss was not the only tragedy to befall us that day, for soon came the calamity. The scars borne by our forest are a constant reminder of its violence. Our lives have been irrevocably changed, each waking hour a struggle to survive. Driven to desperation, some among us have strayed from the path of righteousness, resorting to banditry, poaching, and other unconscionable deeds. To compound our woes, the Ixal have returned in force, emboldened by our suffering. They test our defenses nigh without cease, and prey upon the vulnerable. So beleaguered from within and without, it is of little wonder that our unity now falters. Dark times are upon us.
Time was a man could walk the highways without fear.
On this day, 5 years ago, countless Eorzeans laid down their lives that we might behold another dawn. Please join with me in honoring their memory.
And how do you propose to honor the memory of those you cannot remember, pray tell?
The destruction wrought by the calamity was indiscriminate. It dealt death to Eorzean and Garlean alike. Yet while we have labored to rebuild our homes, to rebuild our lives, the Empire has set about raising steel fortresses here in the Twelveswood. Let none be mistaken. The Garleans remain the greatest threat to our survival. If we are to stand against them, we must remember what it is to be united. Our many troubles blind us to the woes of our fellow man. Thence is harmony lost. Yet harmony is the founding principle of Gridania. We are gathered here to honor the fallen. Let them be honored not only in word and thought, but through concerted action. I bid you join hands with me once more beneath the Twin Adder standard. And together, let us heal the forest's wounds, that our progeny might live in harmony beneath these ancient boughs. For serenity, purity, and sanctity. We must think of the children.
Woods will be done.
It's up to us to protect the
All
forest.
the elementals!
Well, we'll see if any of these remembrance serves to go and enkindle the people to, you know, work better together. Well, only time will tell. Now then, these twins.
If you'll permit me, Alphino.
Hi, Alphino.
And my sister, Alize, at your service.
Nice to meet you, Alize.
I saw at a glance that you were a fellow traveler. You might call us students of history, sampling the realm's remembrances in pursuit of enlightenment.
The Gridanians are unfortunate enough to have to contend with two beast tribes. The Ixal are unquestionably the more troublesome, being a naturally warlike disposition and won't summon their bloodthirsty primal, Garuda. Oh, let me turn off the auto-scrolling. The Sylphs, by contrast, are peaceful in nature, being mischievous rather than malevolent, and have long been on friendly terms with the Gridanians. Until recently, at least. Alas, they have grown aloof, at a change observed at roughly the time they summoned their primal removed. The Gridanians have no love for war, and they consider open conflict a last resort. Though they clash with the Ixal ever more regularly, you may be assured that they do so in self-defense. As for the Sylphs, they are as yet bound by a peace treaty, though one wonders how long it will be before it is broken. The Twelveswood was grievously wounded during the calamity, leaving Gridania vulnerable to attack. People are hopeful that restoring the wood, and thereby the power of the elementals, will put an end to their woes. Yet how long will that take? Centuries, I'd wager. Meanwhile, the Ixal will continue their incursions, spurred on by Garuda and her insatiable appetite for destruction. Whether the Gridanians like it or not, sooner or later it will come to all-out war, and when it does, the Order of the Twin Adder will need all the help it can muster. How valuable might the aid of a capable adventurer prove to them, then? Well, they're an odd pair. Alright, so that's one service down. Let's head over to the next one. Oh, no, wait, we need to go to here. Oh, yep, this is the spot.
Behold, 'tis the Sultana Nanamo herself!
And Roban as well.
Hark you, souls of flame, drawn to the bosom of the desert, where the fire burns brightest and shall rage forevermore. Hurrah! Rauban! Where since antiquity, under the sage and judicious rule of the Ul dynasty, we have wrought sand into gold. where by the grace and glory of Nalthal have our brave sons and daughters flourished and prospered. I speak of Uldar!
Oh, the twins
There,
again.
at the Flame General's back flies the Grand Company's standard. Note the sigil. The golden scales of order balance the jewel of prosperity with the flame of might.
Great and many are the gifts our nation has given the realm. In Eorzea's darkest hour, on the killing fields of Cartano, none spent more in blood and gold than we. Thus was the 7th Imperial Legion laid low.
So that's how it happened. How soon history forgets.
Yet many left our gates, never to return. Let us pray for our absent brothers and sisters, that they might know happiness in the great beyond, as Thal's honored guests. If the fates were fair, the price we paid that day would have bought us victory. Alas, they are not. And now, but 5 years into this 7th Umbral era, the spirit of sacrifice which granted us our strength is all but dead. Look around you. What do you see? A people divided, downtrodden and enthralled. Where are the merciful alms of the rich? Where is the just steel of the righteous? I ask you, is this the great nation our brothers and sisters gave their lives to save? You who call this living, dishonor the name of the immortal flames. It is but a slow death. Our enemies surround us. The savage hordes of the Amalja wait beside our roads, strangling the lifelines of trade. Meanwhile, the Guardians make mock of our borders and despoil our land of its natural wealth. We stand on a precipice, yet we do not act. Whether trader or soldier, monetarist or royalist, all must recognize that a divided Uldar stands to fall. Victory and fortune walk hand in hand. Ye who seek glory and wealth, look not to what little you can snatch from your neighbor, but to the boundless wealth of the world beyond. Now is the time to unite. Now is the time to ride forth. In the name of the Sultana, I beseech you. Line not your own coffers, but those of the immortal flames. Seek not to prosper from Uldar, but to restore her to prosperity. As the realm prospers, so shall Uldar. As Uldar prospers, so shall her people. Ya for Uldar!
Together we are one.
Your grace.
Raban? People of Uldar, I, Nanimo, 17th in the line of Ul, address you. Much has been made of the wealth of Uldar. Yet those who measure that wealth in coins and carats are gravely deceived. For the true wealth of Uldar lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her people. Beloved subjects, I bid you raise aloft the torch of Uldar, that her flames might serve as a beacon for all Eorzea to see.
Long live Nanamo!
Glory to the Sultana!
For victory and fortune, stride fearless into the inferno, for we are, by fire, reborn!
Well, that was certainly a bit more lively than Gridania's service.
The time is now!
Fancy meeting you again.
Hello again. The Uldans have a long history of conflict with the Amalja, the beast tribe that worships the primal Ifrit. Judging by your look of distaste, I take it you have encountered them. Yes, yes I have. The Uldans do not shy from confrontation. If aught threatens their precious prosperity, they will seek to crush it. So they have dealt with the Ifrit thus far, smothering his flames each time he is stroked to life. Yet he is but one of several problems. Though they have been quiet these past 5 years, the Garleans have not gone away. Meanwhile, refugees continue to arrive in droves, and Ul'dah has no clear policy on how to deal with them. After all, not even the Sultanate's coffers are bottomless, and even assuming they had the coin, resources will ever be finite. Which brings me back to the subject of Ifrit. It has been observed that the Amalja are summoning him with ever-increasing frequency. Every time they do so, the Uldans send their forces to smite the Primal, and though they invariably succeed, each victory is bought with blood. It is a war of attrition which they cannot well sustain. Small wonder, then, that the Immortal Flames are eager to recruit more members. At such a desperate hour, an adventurer of your experience would be a most welcome addition to their ranks. For their sake, I hope the Flame General's words struck a chord with you. Probably. Probably not. Alright, and last but not least, we head over to Limsa Lominsa. Like I said, this is going to be a very text-heavy episode. Alright, so I need to go... Here we go, this way.
The Garleans are another matter altogether.
So much for our alliance.
It's sunk beyond the seabed.
Brothers and sisters of the sea, hearken unto me. Look upon this, our mighty crimson standard, and tell me your hearts do not swell with pride. "700 summers have come and gone since our forefathers first ran aground in this fertile bay. In that time, guided by the Mother of Oceans, Limsa Lominsa has grown from humble fishing village to uncontested ruler of the 5 seas and beyond.
Oh, look who it is.
Did you look as the Admiral bid you? It is a rather stirring standard, I must say. The Crimson Field is meant to signify the blood of fallen crewmates, while the Black Longship represents a pirate vessel.
When the Garlean Empire marched upon Eorzea, we assembled beneath the Maelstrom Standard, and our grand company was reborn. All answered the call, from the Knights of the Barracuda to Hilthier's bloody executioners, and together we met our would-be conquerors upon the field of Cartano. That day, the world bore witness to the united strength of Limsa Lominsa. I swear to you, no army ever fought harder or with more courage, yet many of ours did not survive. Join me now in remembering those who fought in the name of freedom and fell. May their souls be returned to the sea.
Freedom. Yes, they have always been rather fond of their freedom. Much as the beast tribes have. Small wonder. Beneath the surface, one would struggle to tell them apart.
It has been 5 long years since the calamity struck. 5 long years of tireless rebuilding. Yet still the wounds of the calamity fester and weep. But when I stand atop the mizzenmast and gaze out upon our battered and broken vessel, I see an undying spirit. Did we not build all this from the wreck of the Galadian all those centuries ago? Shall we not do so again? Yet there are those who would see this ship of ours sink beneath the waves of the restless Rotano. The Sahagin creep ashore seeking blood for their accursed god.
Those fishback
The Sahagin have risen?
While the mines of Ogomoro spew forth kobolds who push ever south, despoiling our lands as they go.
Ah,
These
right.
savage
They're
beast
dealing with
tribes
2
will be the
beast
first
tribes,
waves to
just
crush
like
against
Gridania.
our creaking hull. And behind them swells the grim tide of the Garlean Empire. Even now, the curs fly their flags within our borders. Doubt not, but that they will be upon us ere long. We are well nigh surrounded. Yet there are those among us who would rather turn their swords against their crewmates than our cannons against our foes. How can we hope to repel our many enemies when mutiny breeds below deck? There is but one course left to us. One bearing that will bring us victory over the beast hordes and the Empire both, and see this ship safe to port. We must mend the rift the calamity has reopened twixt pirate and maelstrom, and stand fast with our adventurer brothers against the coming tempest. Mark ye well. A crew without unity is no crew at all. 'Tis but a mass of drowned men. To me, then, brothers and sisters of the sea, gather beneath the undying crimson standard, and pledge me your strength, your skill, your wisdom. And with the guidance of the navigator, this great vessel of ours shall ride the waves, till sea swallows all.
Long live the Admiral!
And we're moving!
Gather the lads!
Oh, where's me cutlass?
I'll follow ye to the 7 hells, Admiral!
Fancy meeting you again.
As the Admiral mentioned in her address, Limsa Lominsa is plagued by 2 beast tribes. The first are the fish-like Sahagin, worshippers of the primal Leviathan. The second are the kobolds, who dwell beneath the earth and take the primal Titan for their god. As if the beast tribe's presence weren't troublesome enough, the Garleans have also chosen to erect a fortress right in the Luminsans' backyard. And that is to say, naught of internal strife. As a nation of pirates, there is no end to the blood feuds between the various factions, and while they fight amongst themselves, the Garleans whet their blades and watch. If the Luminsans are to have any hope of withstanding the Empire, they must first resolve their own affairs. Differences must be set aside and the primal threat dealt with once and for all. Easier said than done, kid. To this end, I expect that they will soon take decisive action against the beast tribes. Mark my words, the Maelstrom Standard will be drenched a deeper shade of crimson ere long. That a capable adventurer like you would be a valuable addition to their crew is beyond question. Whew. Alright, so that's all 3 remembrance services taken care of, and I'm getting a call. Jay, this is Minfilia. You are well, I hope? Would I be correct in thinking that the final remembrance service has now concluded? A moment ago, you say. What a coincidence. Jesting aside, I trust you remember our guests from the Grand Companies. Well, delighted though we are to have them here at the Waking Sands, it would not do to keep them in suspense any longer than necessary. In short, hurry back. Alright, I'm coming. I'll be right there in a jiffy. Alright, and we're back at the Waking Sands. Let's go ahead and make our decision as to which Grand Company we will join. Welcome back, Jay. Were the Grand Company leader's words all as illuminating as you had hoped? Kinda. Each nation is beset with problems. I trust you see now why your services are in such demand. Would that there were more of you, Jay. But you must be tired from your journey. Why don't you rest a while and take a moment to reflect on your decision? Once your mind is made up, pray give the Grand Company officers your answer.
The gods only know what Grand Company our adventurer friend will keep. The wheels of change are in motion regardless.
Brother, are you certain this course is best?
Whatever do you mean, dear sister?
The so-called remembrance ceremonies were little more than standard waving rallies.
I mean, she's not wrong there, they kinda were.
As though the Calamity and 7th Umbral Era warranted scarcely a mention.
Well, of course they were standard waving rallies. Since you are so observant, mayhap you noticed what mention was made of the Warriors of Light? None. I suppose they must have forgotten the heroes who spared Eorzea a fate worse than the Calamity? No, dear Alize, they haven't forgotten these details. They have elected to omit them. Deep are the wounds the Calamity inflicted upon Eorzea. So deep, in fact, that the realm still bleeds. Needless to say, the beast tribes and their primals do little to alleviate the pain. So, the task of salving Eorzea's wounds falls to the scions of the 7th Dawn, with a little help from our friends, the Grand Companies. Remembrance will yield no remedy. If our world is to heal, we must put the horrors of the Calamity behind us.
Our grandfather would never entrust the fate of the realm to despots who rewrite history to their convenience.
Ooh, she is pissed.
There must be another way to cure what ails this world, and I need to find it.
You are most welcome to try. Our paths may differ, but our destination is the same. In time, I dare say we will see eye to eye.
I should hope so.
My lady!
We are to escort you!
Hope does not come into it. We share the burden of this fate, dear sister, and will prevail together or not at all. The salve will serve not only to close up our present wounds, but prevent old ones from opening anew.
Alrighty, I already know which Grand Company I'm going with. Since I started in Ul'dah, I'm going to stick with Ul'dah. Welcome back, adventurer. I take it General Ralban's words kindled the fire within you? Yes, sure, let's go with that. Excellent. I feared that the incidents with the traitor may have soured your opinion of us. It gladdens me to see that that isn't the case. But before we can count you as one of our own, you must be formally inducted into our ranks. Please proceed to the Hall of Flames and identify yourself to the personnel officer. I'll notify him of your coming. With your strength joined to ours, we shall surely prevail over our enemies, be they beastmen or Imperials. Right, so back to Ul'dah. Where? There you are. What brings you to the Hall of Flames this evening, adventurer? My name is JR. I do believe you're expecting me. Ah, I thought as much. You are just as our man at the Waking Sands described. It is an honor to meet you, sir. Now, in order to formalize your... Sir! Speak, Private. Imperials, sir. They fired on a Highwind Skyways airship. Scouts say she's coming down to the west, near Horizon's Edge. Bloody hells, of all the times for this to happen. Jay, there's no time for formalities. The Immortal Flames need your help now. We're in the midst of a large-scale operation against the Amalja, and we have no one to spare in Western Thanalan. We must get to that ship before the Garleans do. If there are any survivors, see that they do not come to further harm. Now go. Oh, goody, action. So this is over by Horizon. Let's go ahead and teleport over there. Oh, well, there's the airship, and there's the airship crewman. Uh-oh. An adventurer? What are you doing out here? No, wait, let's find some cover first. The Immortal Flame sent you? How do I know you're not an Imperial spy? You don't even have a uniform. Now listen here, I was about to get my uniform and get enrolled into the Immortal Flames, but this happened. Are you alright, sir? Our scouts reported the attack on your craft. We've come to rescue you. JR, yes? Glad to have you with us. Told you. I have not seen a craft of this design before. Trader Garland has been busy. The secrets of Magitech are ours by right. They are not to be squandered upon the savages of this land. We are taking this craft back to the fortress. Dismantle it if you must, and bring the engineer. Someone must pay for Garland's crimes. They mean to take the ship back to Cache Meridianum, along with your friend. Wedge, you have to help him. That fool of a Lalafell was hiding inside the tiny Bronco. Nice looking ship, though not the best place to have taken shelter. I agree. It's the first airship we've built since the Calamity. The first since Master Garland, well, since he went missing. After years of work, she was finally ready for her first test flight. And she was soaring. She really was. Till those bastards blasted her out of the sky. We attack on my command. Kill them quickly and save the Lalafell if possible. Is that clear, Jay? Crystal clear. Show them what becomes of those who play with fire. Charge! Are we just going in guns blazing? We're under attack. 2 arms. Alright, let's do this. I can take care of the spellcasters first. They'll tend to heal their allies. Take care of the ranged people as well. There we go. Oh, they called for reinforcements. This guy first. Oh, what the fuck? Don't run. And we win. Biggs. Wedge, you shouldn't have stayed with the ship. That was a close one. Too damn close. So, how's she look anyway? The auxiliary propeller is the dead loss, but I think we could wring enough thrust from the main propeller to get us airborne. A few minor modifications and we should be able to fly the tiny Bronco home. The Imperials will come looking for their scouts, but we can defend this position until the engineers leave. You should go, Jay. You still have unfinished business to attend to at the Hall of Flames. You're not quite one of us yet, though anyone who'd seen you in action today would be forgiven for thinking otherwise. I, just wanted to say sorry, you know, for calling you an Imperial spy and all that. Got that one wrong, didn't I? Seriously though, if it hadn't been for you and the Immortal Flames lads there, I'd be chained up within a dungeon by now. I'm in your debt, friend. We both are. Wedge! Thank you, we're very grateful. Alright, so that issue's dealt with. Heading back to Ul'dah. I swear I feel like I'm visiting that city more often than anywhere else. Welcome back, Jay. Word of your deeds in the field reached me not long ago. Exemplary service. Rest assured that the Garland Ironworks engineers are fine. They were able to get their vessel back in the air before Imperial reinforcements arrived. Your willingness to assist us on such short notice is to be commended. Clearly, your reputation is well deserved. Now then, I believe we have some unfinished business. Shall we continue from where we left off and induct you into the Immortal Flames? And ooh, sweet! Level 30, and I can do my class quest. We'll take care of that, most likely off screen. Are you ready, Jay? Then let us begin. JR, you stand poised to enter a sacred trust. The flames of Ul'dah burn bright, casting light where there is dark and purging evil wherever so it lurks. We are ever ready to meet the nation's enemies in battle, be they beastmen, Garleans, or worse. And at a word from Flame General Ralban al-Din, we would gladly lay down our lives to maintain the peace and prosperity of Ul'dah. To join our ranks, you must forsake all other nations. Only then may you commit yourself to the fire and be reborn as an immortal flame. Burn as one of us, JR, and together we shall chase the darkness from Ul'dah. Will you swear an oath to mark this occasion? What should I choose? What skills I have belong now to Ul'dah. And Ul'dah will have need of them in the days ahead. The knowledge and experience of well-traveled adventurers are invaluable assets. Very well, your resolve is plain. JR, I hereby confer upon you the rank of Flame Private 3rd Class. Welcome to the Immortal Flames, Private. May you fight to the last for coin and country. And there we go. I am now a member of the Immortal Flames. Ooh, phone call. Can you hear me, Jay? This is Minfilia. An officer of the Immortal Flames contacted me with news of your enlistment. My congratulations, Private R. I have no doubt that you are eager to make the acquaintance of your new comrades, but I would ask that you pay a visit to your old ones first. Remember, though you are now a Flame of Ul'dah, you are no less a Scion. They return to the Waking Sands at your earliest convenience. There are some friends here whom I would very much like you to meet. We shall be waiting. It seems your presence is required elsewhere. But before you leave, perhaps you could find a moment to speak with Commander Swift. He is not one to see new recruits go into the field unprepared. Alright, so that's the gentleman right there, standing by the door. You may now accept the quest My Little Chocobo, Immortal Flames, by speaking with Swift. This quest must be completed in order to proceed to the end of the main scenario for A Realm Reborn. Oof, so we have to do this one. Oh, okay, so awesome. I'm gonna take care of his quest, most likely in a video. But let me head back over to the Waking Sands. And I'll most likely end the video there. I know not much happened, but you know, we still got through some story quests here and there. Oh, hey, Ida and Papolino. Welcome back. Actually, you know what? We'll turn this in the next video. So, not much has happened for this video. We just saw 3 remembrance services, one in Ul'dah, one in Gridania, and one in Limsa Lominsa. They're pretty much more or less like Alize pointed out in an earlier cutscene, standard waving rallies, pretty much flexing on each other to see which nation is the best and which one cares the most for their city. And it's like, okay, I get that. It makes sense. But other than that, we decided to go with joining the Immortal Flames, mainly because I've started out in Ul'dah, so I might as well stick around in Ul'dah as an Immortal Flame for a time being until I decide to switch up and join a different Grand Company, but most likely I'll stick around as an Immortal Flame. What else have we covered today? Besides meeting Alphino and Alize, not much else happened, with the exception, of course, of defending a downed airship from Garlean empires that were trying to, you know, it looks like they're after someone named Garland, who seems to be a traitor amongst them. I guess he didn't like what the Empire was doing and decided to flee here to Eorzea. And, you know, since he's here in Eorzea, probably, he built us an airship, and, well, according to the Garleans, us, and I quote, savages of Eorzea don't deserve to use any of their technology, which is rude, to say the least. But I am rambling on right now. In the next video, we'll see what our next assignment is from Minfilia, and off screen, I will take care of my job quest, but on screen in a separate video, I will take care of the My Little Chocobo quest, which will grant me use of a chocobo, which is actually going to be pretty neat. I'll be able to travel around a bit quicker rather than just walking everywhere. I mean, granted, I've been teleporting everywhere, but you get what I mean. Having an extra set of legs to ride on will be extremely beneficial, I assure you. Now then, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this seemingly boring video with all the reading and text in it. And feel free to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to get notified with any new videos that I decide to upload. And with that said, take care everyone. I will see you guys later.